Hey, my name is Ben Oaksmith. We're sitting aboard a Brabus 500. It's one and only one in the Puget Sound. So it's a glacial blue with a cappuccino upholstery. It's in an Elliott Bay Marina, and we just took a ride around the bay. And now we're gonna chat with you guys.
You should tell the story about how we named our boat and why.
Oh yeah, so we named our boat Napoleon. Not after Napoleon, like the general or the Frenchman, but a horse in Puerto Rico. And like the long story short is everybody had already chosen a horse, and I was like, oh, I'll just wait. Like all the horses have to be great. So it's a place where we're like gonna be taking these horses out in some pretty sketchy conditions. And the last horse comes around the corner, and he's maybe shoulder height on me, and he maybe weighs like 300, 400 pounds, and his name's Napoleon. And so I'm like, all right, I guess me and Napoleon are gonna do this. And he was just, like, he did not want to be there. He was just like angry and like trying to stop and like eat and just huffing and puffing, you know? But then we got to this open field and he just took off. And he just started running, and like for the rest of the day, he was just super happy and like a great horse.
Fast and stubborn and resilient, and we just really, for years after, we talked about this little horse in Puerto Rico, and then when the boat came around, it seemed appropriate.
Little 22-foot boat
Name it
can do more than it should, you know? Yeah. Why not?
What are some of your best memories on boats?
You know, my family's owned like all sorts of boats, all different like sizes, but I think my favorite memories on boats are up in like northern Canada. We used to go on this like flying trips where we used to go in for like about a week, so they would drop us off with supplies and etc. And then we go out on these like 12-foot aluminum hold boats and just go fishing, you know, like catch walleye and cook it, you know, just have a great time. I remember like almost every single trip we saw the Northern Lights too. So it was just, you know, like you just lay on the rocks and watch the Northern Lights, and it was great. What do you think like a boat adds to our life in the Puget Sound?
Freedom and flexibility. It's so beautiful here, and that's part of the reason we moved to the Pacific Northwest, was for the water. And I think that it adds a lot of freedom and flexibility to our lives, being able to have a boat and a sense of calm, being able to get out on the water, get away from traffic, get away from work and the busyness of life, and just have some peace and some fun. I was thinking about sunbathing. That's what I wanted from a boat on the rare sunny day. Granted, we have more sunny days in the Pacific Northwest than people think, but on the rare sunny day, I wanted to be able to lay out and take a nap on the boat while you drive me around. That's what I was hoping for from the boat. And a boat that we could take the dogs out on, so they could spend time with us, and whale watch and hang out with seals and sea lions, which we're able to do.
Yeah, that's true.
What about you?
I think what was most important to me is probably being able to like get somewhere and then get back as quickly as possible, you know, comfortably. Ability to bring out a couple friends, but not too many, you know, so I can say no. If people do ask to come out, be like, oh, it's not big enough, I'm sorry.
Not enough room.
You know? But also like hang out with the dogs, like you said.
Yeah.
Reasonably out of the weather, you know, it has a T-top, not this boat obviously, but our boat has a T-top and a windscreen so we can get out of the weather when we're underway. And I mean, it's super fuel efficient too, so.
So why did you become a yacht broker?
I mean, at the core of it, I absolutely wanted to get more on the water. I wanted to be on the water more often. And I've tried to figure out a way to do that. And I figured that the skill set that I already had in sales and recruiting and like the ability to passionately show somebody what I care about and what I like translated well into yacht brokering. And I was also able to carry that passion and allow other people to experience the same thing I do for the first time, right? And I think that's probably the biggest joy. Like, I love selling boats to all sorts of people, but I think first-time boat buyers are my favorite people because they get to experience it all for the first time. And you get to see the look on their face when they drive a boat for the first time and like try to figure out all these problems for the first time, you know? And it's great to be able to help them experience that. Can you tell me your favorite story about us boating?
a few years ago, if you remember, there's a comet that was going to be visible in our area, and so we took our little sailboat out right at dusk, and there were just about 2 other boats out, and if you go out at dusk, the wind picks up, and it's just really beautiful. And we stayed out for a couple hours. You know, this was summer, and so it took a long time for the sun to go down, and we stood out there and ended up seeing the comet, and it was just absolutely incredible because there was no light pollution. We were out in the boat, it was perfectly quiet, the wind had died down by then, and the stars were out, and you could see this comet, so we had binoculars out, and it was just us and 2 other boats hanging out in this area, and then we took the boat in to the marina, and we made it safely in the middle of the night and docked, but it was a really special moment. I think the thing that I've noticed the most about coming into the boating community is just how much it feels like a family. When we walk down a dock and people say hi to us because we've seen them before, everyone's really friendly, specifically within the axopar community. It really just feels like home and feels like something you want to continue to be a part of because people are so welcoming and so friendly, and you have a shared passion in boats and the water, and I've really appreciated becoming a part of that family. Where do you see the industry heading?
You know, obviously there's a lot of talk about electrification, but I think in general, everything's becoming more efficient and people are becoming much more conscious of sustainability in the yachting industry, and I think that's what's going to drive new boat sales in the next 10, 20 years. I don't think people are going to be looking at like, oh, this looks, it's a bulbous machine that has 2,000 square feet, but it burns 1,000 gallons an hour. I don't think they're going to want to really appreciate that. I think they're going to appreciate the ability to do the things they want to see, enjoy nature, as well as conserve it as things go. And I don't think it's going to be an option, if I'm honest. I think gas prices are just beginning to climb, and I think that electric engines, diesel hybrid engines are going to be the way of the future. People are just going to become better to the environment that they get to enjoy on boats.